back-to-back 30K months is a win in my book, especially the way we did it.
Every single tutoring business owner believes that slow months are just a part of the game. Dead summers, no students on Christmas, no students basically on any holiday period, and Jared thought the exact same thing. But then he made $26,700 in the worst month of the whole year. We didn't actually touch how he was delivering the lessons. We just rebuilt his offer, his ads, his messaging around one core messaging mechanism, his content system. And in the first 30 days of launching this system, he brought in $26,700 and a 13x return on ad spend. Most tutoring business owners stay stuck because they believe that tutoring is seasonal, unpredictable, and that's just how it is. But the only reason why Jared's business was stuck is because he didn't have his content system in place. One that puts you in front of the right parents at the right time, meaning parents that value education and have the means to invest. You don't want people that scrambled a couple of days before the exam. You want the parents that want to prepare early, that actually take this serious like you do. And when you reach enough of the right type of parents, the slow and unpredictable months can become your best months of the whole year. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through every piece of the system that we built that allowed Jared to get these results. And you're also gonna get complete clarity on what your current tutoring business is missing and how to grow it further. But if you want my team's help in scaling your tutoring business, then you can also book a call with my team below. There's gonna be a link in the description of this video. Now, the main problem was that he was relying entirely on his Facebook group. And while he was running some ads, they maybe pulled 1 or 2 students a month. It was completely broken, completely unprofitable, and it was mainly drawing in low budget parents that don't even take this that serious. And the second problem was that he had no social media presence, meaning he wasn't posting consistently on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. Nobody really knew he existed outside of his small Facebook group. Now, what that leads to is that even the people that he did get from ads didn't trust him, didn't know how he was different, and didn't really know why should they pay him more than some other generic SAT tutor charging $20 an hour. He was also doing absolutely everything himself and had no clear way to actually grow the business, which ultimately led to the business being stagnant and have inconsistent revenue months and have massive ups and downs. You need to understand that we didn't just fix his ads, because ads on their own are just you paying to get more attention on your offer, right? We needed to rebuild his entire machine and implement our content system. And the first step to doing that is his offer and positioning. And the problem with this existing offer was that he was targeting people who could never afford $2,700 for his tutoring service. He was simply going after the wrong people. And this is the exact trap that you fall into if you're charging $20 to $50 an hour and people still hesitate. Your price isn't too high, it's just that it's too high for this specific type of prospect, and you can just choose to go after somebody else that could pay it. So what we did is we completely repositioned his offer into a premium program. The reason we do that is to attract higher quality people who, again, value education and have the actual means to invest. The whole point isn't vanity metrics, it's leverage. 100 of the right views can turn into booked meetings, but even 100,000 of the wrong views are never gonna convert into a single meeting, much less pay you any money. And to further emphasize this point, his first 4 TikTok videos, which combined got 2,000 views, produced a $2,700 sale on their own. This is the power of the right messaging. You can literally make a higher dollar amount than your view count on your videos if you just go after the right people. So no, you don't need 10K followers and hundreds of thousands of views for this to work.
The offer is good and people will buy. I just need to get enough on the calendar.
So once we have all of that outlined, we then built a dedicated landing page. His offer on the top, then a pre-sale video explaining exactly what he does, why his method gets results, why it's a premium package, and then most importantly, we have the credibility stack down below in the form of testimonials and previous people that he's helped and what type of results they got. Now, the pre-sale video does a lot of the heavy lifting before the actual call. What we do here is we try and frame Jared as the premium option, right? So that people that book aren't expecting $20 or $50 an hour. They instead understand that this is a full process and are mentally ready to pay higher prices because they understand that this will get results, and they also understand how it gets results, and they also understand exactly who it's gotten results for in the past. Now, there's also a completely separate show-up video that is sent to absolutely every person that books. This goes over what to do before the call, what will be covered, and frames the call as a strategy session that's going to help them irregardless if they decide to move forward with the offer or not. Now, the whole goal here is to, again, make sure that they arrive pre-sold and incentivize them to actually show up, so that not only do you get 80% plus plus show up rates, but the people that do actually show up just have a few final questions and then they're basically ready to get started. So once we have all of these fundamentals in place, then we actually launch our content system. Now, this is two channels working together, organic content and paid meta ads. Now, most online tutoring business owners treat organic completely wrong. You shouldn't think of organic content as a direct acquisition source. It is an amplifier. What organic primarily does, at least in the beginning, is it lowers your cost per lead, it raises show up rates, and it makes closing much easier because every single organic video that they see before the actual call pre-sells them even further. And not to mention that they see you have followers, they see you have likes. This is all social proof. And even though likes, comments, views are just vanity metrics, it is still a massive cognitive trigger because social proof is the most powerful indicator that you know what you're talking about and that you know something they don't that ever even existed. Because it literally saying that other people trust you, other people resonate with it, and other people think it's good. And most humans are just sheep, so they just follow the herd. Now, this also isn't just dancing on TikTok to get empty views. Again, you need to understand this is value-driven content that builds authority and connection with the buyer. So we're still not chasing empty views just to get them, right? Yes, we want views, yes, we want credibility, but we want views from the right people so that they actually start converting. Now, when it comes to the ads, you need to understand that it doesn't really matter how you set them up in the actual ads manager. What the buttons you click, the interest targeting, the campaign structure maybe has a 10% effect on the actual end result. What has a 90% effect on the end result is going to be the framing and messaging that self-selects for the parents that are one, willing to pay for a premium service and value education in the first place. And the way you do this is you need to call out their specific pain points. You need to tell them exactly how they're feeling. You need to tell them exactly the problems they're dealing with, exactly what feelings go through their mind when you're dealing with them, and where they want to get to, right? You need to talk to a specific type of avatar in order to attract that specific type of avatar. And this, again, does 90% of the heavy lifting for you. So we launched the ads on 27th of March. Mind you, he only joined the program on the 21st of March. So we were able to set all of this up. So we were able to refine his offer, set up the landing pages, set up the pre-call videos, set up his whole ad system, optimize his Instagram within 6 days, less than a week. It is extremely important that you also act with speed and you get everything done fast, because if this took 2 months, he would not have made the amount of money he made, just because there would have been more competition in the market and a lot more stuff could have gone wrong and everything would have just been delayed for no reason. So once we have all of that attention and all of those leads, we need to do two things. We need to, one, make sure that they get converted into appointments, and two, we need to make sure that everything's nice and organized and that we can track every single metric. The way we do that is we implement a complete CRM build out, meaning complete email sequences, SMS sequences, calendar connections, so that everything runs extremely smoothly. From the very first time a parent sees you on the ad, to the time they click on the ad, to the time that they get to the landing page and book a call, not only does all of that need to be connected, it also needs to be seen inside the CRM and tracked so that we know every single metric on every single step separately. And then we also placed a full-time trained appointment setter in his business, because we don't want Jared calling up hundreds of leads every single day just to get a couple of booked calls. No, we want the appointment setter to do all of that so that Jared can focus on higher ROI activities, which is closing the deals and fulfilling on his existing students. So the end result of all of this is 3 to 7 meetings every single day on Jared's calendar, everything tracked to the T, so we know exactly what's going on, exactly where we're heading, and if we need to fix anything, if there's any bottlenecks, and what we need to work on.
The system that I'm very impressed with, it feels a lot more streamlined.
And then the final piece, the deal flow. So getting somebody to actually pay you $2,700 up front. Now, you need to understand that the people that were coming onto these calls valued education, could afford it, right? So logistically, they had the money and they were also already ready to commit, because you need to keep in mind, they saw all of the pre-selling and nurturing assets, meaning the VSL, the pre-call, all of the organic content, the setter calling them and confirming everything. So it's not really that hard to get all of that up front if all of those checks are in place. And you need to understand that just 2 or 3 of these appointments every single day can absolutely flip a tutoring business completely on its head, because out of 2 or 3 appointments, you can easily close 1 or 2. Because again, keep in mind, logistically they can afford it and they actually want to do it because they understand it's a premium service and they also understand that it's gonna actually get them the result. Now on top of that, we obviously had a fully refined sales process on the back end as well, right? So we gave Jared a completely custom sales script specific for his offer, and then we also reviewed his sales calls to make sure that he's saying the right things and that we convert these appointments into sales. So just a couple of days after launching the ads, he got his first sale, and then literally 6 days after that, somebody paid from TikTok. Again, that's the sale from just 2,000 total views on his TikTok, and a pit fee, that means they paid everything up front, so $2,700. 7 days after that, another paid up front. Then we implemented his appointment setter, and just 11 days after implementing the appointment setter, he got a close, specifically a close that the appointment setter set onto his calendar, and then he was able to end June on $26.7 thousand, and then obviously everything just continued and amplified in July. So you need to understand that tutoring isn't unpredictable. It's just that the way most people run it is the hourly sessions, chasing referrals, hoping for the next student that they just come out of thin air is really not going to lead to anything other than unpredictability. And what I just showed you here in this video is literally all the proof that you should ever need to understand that tutoring is not seasonal. Jared expected this to be slow. Most tutors expect summer months to be extremely slow. However, he was able to double his business within the very same month.
I thought July was going to be pretty bad. Back-to-back 30K months.
So the end result was $26.7 thousand in a single month in additional revenue. Mind you, he was already making some money with his Facebook groups and referrals. This was just on top of that. He became an authority figure in the SAT niche, had a 13x ROAS on ads, meaning he only spent roughly $2,000 to make 26.7K. He now has daily new inquiries and meetings with quality parents, has a full-time appointment setter, and finally has control over his time and finances, leading him to be confident in his and his business's future because of the predictability and consistent revenue that he's now getting.
It is predictable. I know there's always going to be another call coming up.
So if you're running a tutoring business and you're tired of the constant up and down roller coaster that comes with relying on referrals, constant posting on Facebook groups, and constantly chasing parents that don't want to pay your rates, then book a call. There's a link in the description of this video. We're gonna go over your exact bottlenecks, what is keeping you from growing, and give you a clear path forward. And then if you want to, you can obviously pay us to work with us and we will get you there faster.